Can escape. The owner from the beginning was about to defeat Sao. That is. CA School began to transport the inner city, despite being tied up. He looked at Kim and said, "There are loopholes, Kim Zen brother." A stream of attacks straight into Kim Zen. He blurted out in shock. This is the genius of nothingness. The school, in a moment, has approached Kim Zen, and the acupressure points directly at his concussion. Kim Zen closed his eyes to the blow. A light suddenly flashed where Kim was meditating, he said. Kim Zen escaped the body. Kim's body suddenly disappeared, and left a lot of beads. Suddenly Wonder Buddha show Sao. The Buddhas gradually cracked raw. With every Buddha show, a clone of Kim Zen appeared again, and quickly surrounded the CA campus. He said the CA school lacks the kind of distance. All your magic spells. I'm afraid it won't happen in time. The school noticed the situation. That's what Ra is. It's not a loophole, it's an invitation into a pathetic jar. The clones immediately rushed to attack the CA school. Copper series. It's a giant explosion that's happening right in the air. The witnesses have to say, what's going on? Basically, see not clear. It seems Kim Zen's art analysis has been defeated. How is this possible? The bodies of Kim Zen disappeared in a. CA school continues to roll out great techniques aimed directly at the Kim Zen essence. It took him a lot of steps back. Kim Zen suddenly thought to himself that. Kai school raised its fist towards Kim Zen. I said if Kim Zen leads you, they don't show real power, you will lose. Kim Zen thought about the technique that the CA school used. SAO force recirculation. He remembered that moment. A very powerful technique launched by the CA school. Knocked out all the clones in the pomegranate tower. Kim thought in the blink of an eye. My body seems to have stopped time. He came out 10 times. Kim Zen put his hands together. A Buddha's aura appeared behind him. He's aesthetic. It doesn't work that way if you're near a bunch. Can only. Kim Zen uses the power of the Tathagata Buddha to attack the CA directly. As soon as the Buddha's hand is about to approach, CA launched another great technique, I exclaimed, very well. In the blink of an eye, the power of the Buddha punished CA defeated. I thought to myself, plus the punitive force of White Tiger guard Kim. My God sword. I stopped killing me. Buddha stopped killing Buddha. Kim Zen seems to have run out of magic. He said helplessly that we lost. Kim Zen is not a rival of CA school. Missing owner. The school is also pleased to accept. Those who saw it below also had to. Kim Zen lost SAO. That's so fast. This ownerless CA school is too strong. They're all 10 big lists that are so different. From a distance, I saw it all. He's worried that this CA school is too dangerous. Even if I'm just afraid, I can't quite grasp the parts. I have to think of a way to warn my teacher. He looked down at the viewer's helplessness and continued to think this person is so confident. It's not that there's no morality. You are the only heir. Is prevented by the excess of arrogance. Kim Zen and CA school slowly landed on the ground. Everyone cheered the name of the CA school. The school lacks owners. CA school lack owner Ui Vu. I didn't look at the school and say, this Kim Zen is really bad luck. Become a stepping stone for you to establish. The school said, after fighting with us, we can live. He's lucky, not SAO. The calm is still quickly absent because of the earlier kick. He hugged the pain crying and Kim Zen sighed comforting him. Min didn't go back to his house. You sit still. There are many questions in my head. You talk to yourself, of course. Finally, the little guy came in. Foot Fairy Library. In his previous life, he was called a genie. Min does not gently put his hand on his chin thinking. You keep talking. But after she became a fairy. Suddenly, it's on again. You must have met the killer. I don't care about her ending. If I remember correctly. Then we pay attention to the flower vase in the hand, CACA. Yours is more. Chief Libra among the 7 gas giants. The 7 gas heads with unmatched power. It's out there somewhere in the world. Min did not continue. Heard, the 7 winds are the key to the fairies. Leave. She took out to 7 gas heads. Adanti look at them with cold eyes and think. Now I have 2 in my hand. The Libra leader must have it too. Back to the scene 3 days ago. When the library is closed. A question echoing over their names. And there was a voice in response to the first child. It turns out that the elder king was the one who asked the question. He looked at the old man and asked, You are the fairy daughter of the late Ra Sao. He opened his eyes in surprise and asked, Do you know me? The people behind were surprised. In the presence of God in this place. They say the first child, she is the first child. The king laughed softly and replied, I don't need to guess anymore. You come in. The people in the distance are buzzing. When I heard the name of the fairy. She's the sister of the school. It seems to be just my expression. I heard these days. The school is always outside the door. I have been waiting for the princess for a long time, because she is also a fianc. The people who walk at the foot of the library are not many. But it's enough to make noise. She closed her eyes tightly. A hand holds up food for you, she said. What does he mean to welcome Min Nobilian without welcoming me Sao? It doesn't matter if your wife likes you. Suddenly, that AI approached the first child. He said, When I saw you, I was curious. I don't know if I'll have a chance to get used to it. The child stood there for a while. It turns out that this name is a monster. He and 2 other disciples approached the boy. Probably with bad intentions. He said that Sao did not respond with contempt. One of his disciples also added, My sister came here for the first time. There are rules to learn as well. For example, here, I have to listen to brother song. The old man turned to contemptuous eyes. He replied that he only relies on you. I see that you are really old men. Suddenly, the voice came out to find the freight. She clicked her tongue in reply. That's the bathroom over there with the lantern on. Slamming with disciples, angry at the words of the prophet. They rushed to work. He yelled at her to teach me. The disciple continued with his eyes closed. The first doesn't understand that. We let you understand what is the cruelties of Fairies Academy. Both of the disciples attacked at the same time. They say they pee. Suddenly, a purple energy source landed to stop the 2 disciples from advancing. There was a scream that came out of chaos. Turns out, that's the ocean. He landed gently and said, And in the daytime, the face is so overbearing. You go to the library. Is to bully my fellow Sao. The genie just quietly watched. Dao Yang looked at the criminal with his accomplices. With eyes of contempt. He continued, destroying the reputation of the library fairies. I have lost the face of my library. Extortion and company. Everyone was terrified of the presence of the dead. They panicked. Dead Yang Heavenly Army. That's the 10th person on the list. Why is he here and get it wrong? All 3 of them bowed down to the Lord. Lord, please forgive me my life. We will not dare anymore. Please forgive us for not bullying you anymore. Smiling, he turned to ask the old man. This monk is not good. First child crossed hands, confidently replied, no, Sao. No need for you, I can handle it myself. He laughed suddenly and said, the master is so confident. I'm sure we have plenty of water in the water. Transmission of death. I don't know how to address you. Little wonder in my head. Why do people in this library like to ask that name? It feels so strange. Liam laughed and continued. If you don't want to say that. I respect what you said. In his head, he thought, of course, he is still a cold prophet. He turned to the three Kier hands and reprimanded them. If we're not passing through here. Now you've made a big mistake. Don't make any more mistakes later. They just keep their mouths shut. Thank you, Yang Tianjin. We won't dare any more. Alba, they stood up and suddenly had a strange smile. There is a call to wait. All three of them panicked. Sweating in front of that AI, standing in front of me. Try to make CA appear. He said, let's go to lunch. They stammered in panic and tried to punish CA. CA school is for everyone. You calmly say, oh. This doesn't know us or why. Liang is sweating. He seemed worried about the appearance of the CA school. He thinks gay. The little girl behind me smiled and thought happily. CA school is not here to pick me up or SAO. Two CA school hands folded behind the back. You interrogate with your partner. You want to teach this head. She's my sister, you know. And he closed in on me. I have eyes that can't see, Tai-sun. I've realized now. Another guy also said, the owner is missing. This is a misunderstanding. Extortion of a wet sweat. CA chuckled softly, replied, he misunderstood, SAO. Tell me how you want to die. Panicked to answer. Death is not that serious. Tu Duong turned to respond to the old school CA. CA schools lack owners. They're just disrespectful. There was no harm to the girl. It is not worth dying for. I have punished them. Calm down, CA reply. Punish them. I see your breath is steady. It's not like I just got hurt. The genie just stood there watching. He laughed falsely, he said. He is also a student of the library. You should also understand people's circumstances. I respect my face. Suddenly, the surrounding air is gloomy. CA glared from the ocean. You say, I respect your face. Do you dare to accept it? CA school immediately pointed to the name Kier Ba and successful. 3 short swords. He appeared in front of his brothers and sisters. I'm scared, shivering, screaming. Death Yang military rescue. I don't want to die. This has nothing to do with me. They are all arranged for me. The blue sky on his face shone. A bunch of hysterics. I have a good intention to help you. He died trying to throw dirty water on me. CA school out attack. All 3 of them took their damage. You said the Lord of Heaven had good intentions. But to be harmed by you is a crime worthy of death. People around you are scared to talk about this. I remember he just got on the list. There is no chance to take action. They deserve to poke at people they shouldn't. Death is running out of witnesses. First child finally voiced the CA school. This is your SAO Academy fairies. Before I finished, the school shut up. He turned his head slightly to look back at the school. CA said, "Now there is money far away from the evidence. Maybe some people will remember it too." I don't dare to take half a step closer to the front. CA school takes fingers to T's big bar. It makes him angry. The two of them abandoned Jiang and left. "I wonder why you keep bullying him." From a thoughtful face. Before holding the absolute win. "We can't do that." He put his hands together and spoke. "I also tried to punish CA. To deal with the scum of Hanyan. If not, then we'll have to get rid of the scum for the library." CA, oh, for an hour. If the Lord of Heaven had this thought. Then try to rest assured. Move the scene to the library room. The secret books flying all over the air. Elders of fairies' legs with black hair, the cup of tea in hand. Death Yang, celestial army. He is the first of the young people of the world. But because of Kim Zen's speed of losing, made him stay away from the school. I was so provoked today. There was no chance to act. This is really not a tiger of death. The white-haired elder replied, "This CA school is as bright as." So he's confident and capable. Can oppress all the gifted in the world. SAO Senior, what do you think of this? A person with pale purple hair is choosing an answer book. That boy is unstoppable. But I've never seen him suffer before. It's like everything is in his plan. If someone really hurt him, then I'm looking forward to it. Children and school CA walking down the library hallway. The Lord asks you to stop worrying. The librarian has no opinion. The CA school responded, "Where do you think this is?" Foot-thin library fostering skin-tightening extreme strapping. It's not a place to raise old men. CA school roll eyes. Look at the embarrassed appearance of the fairy. Are you going to be stupid or fake stupid? Maybe not. Look out. That dead Yang heavenly army has nefarious intentions. SAO. The genie replied, Of course, I look out." That guy kept joking and couldn't even blink. She pointed to the school. CA continued, "You look like you know you're not a good person." CA school helpless to answer. The last sentence is not necessary. She gently put her finger on her chin and wondered only. It's why he arranged to play like that. He and I didn't know each other before. The school replied to me. I don't know in front of you either. I just need to remember that name is not easy to poke at. Maybe he is the one who wants to win my favor. Then try to get out. To be a son-in-law. Children's fairy patted the CA school shoulder. She laughed and said, "Don't worry, I can't see him." I softly exclaim, "You're self-indulgent." Death Yang, celestial army. Maybe they are taking advantage of you. From there, he achieved his goal. After thinking it over, maybe he wants to use you to fight me. Suddenly, I looked at the CA school. You go on. Don't you think I am doing it because of you? The fairy quietly tipped her toes up to kiss the school face. CA. The fairy was afraid to run away. I just hugged your face and said, "Don't you think too much, I just lost my mind." CA school shows a stupid face and touches cheek. I looked at the old fool. I think in my mind, the Lord of Heaven. How should I kill you? CA school is leisurely watching the sky. In front of you are a series of powers. From strong people, is rushing forward. The school thought. Foot Fairy Wonder Library out of the. That is why so many people come to see it. Even the old men are no exception. I keep thinking for myself. This is also a great time. Right now, inside the library fairies, it is good to do bad things. CA School gave a gentle smile, he thought. Business due. Let me prepare a big gift for you. All the players are gathered in one place. They're all incredibly powerful, some say. Look, those are 9 asteroids. Spent countless years in the library. I heard it's coming. A green jewel that radiates, powerful power source, placed right at the foot of the waterfall. They say they fell from 9 heavens. I don't know if it's a fairy or not. The queen appeared, in phoenix costume. It's very eye-catching. There is a prince in the back. He said it's all 10 grand lists. I don't know what the queen thinks about these 9 asteroids. She replied that she could not see through very mysteriously. The prince asked, rumor has it that the queen is the queen. But I can't see through this rock. You answered the prince more casually than I thought. That's what happened to the mountain. You still have a good heart. Come here to see the excitement. He seemed irritated and answered. Sell. He frowned and said. Name Wasteland Cup Renegade title, Kier. However, I will liquidate the guard myself. The queen has a broken heart. Suddenly, in front of the waterfall, there's a light coming out of that AI. Is hovering in the air. And the people around me say it with respect. Root and worship. It's a girl with a small body. She said there was no need for mass. The people around me were surprised. They're wondering if this is Kier. One even said, 80% older than the elders. One person rectified. Suit is not mentioned about the age of women. Don't want to live. The genie landed on the ground. A pale yellow light glowed beneath her feet. She bowed her head and said, the old stone ant. He said he hadn't seen him in years. Young out. She bowed politely and said, don't tease him. You know. This body of mine really can't do anything. She turned her head and looked at the stone. The stone is coming out today. Did he see any clues in there? He replied, it's embarrassing. This meteorite is of the same origin as us, but we don't understand its background. An old man suddenly looked up. When the jelly finally moves, someone else said it was broken. The stone gradually cracked raw. The source of enormous power emanating from the center of the meteorite. The old man said, maybe it has something to do with fairies. Being quiet all this time is scary. Is it really a fairy's foot? A stream of power emanating from the middle of the sky. Everyone has to look up. The old man continued to speak as if he were moving. The Queen of Heaven is the most threatening. During this time period, new from the school-born king heirloom. Before that, it was hidden very well. Suddenly, from that source of power, a hand came out. There's a laughing voice. The familiar spirit of heaven and earth, we've finally left the place. 9 demons tortured me for 300 years. A young man came out, dressed in red from top to bottom. He said we're finally out. It's great to see the sun. I don't know how long it's been outside. When he saw that, he wondered. Why is it that the human race is also skeptical? And I only have angels. Elder's Foot Fairy Library. That's why I ask about religion. Where did you come from? Because SAO has been around for so long in these 9 asteroids. He replied, I have no identity. It's just a normal little monk, nothing special. The boy pointed to the stone, and said, "But if you ask the rock, that was a long time ago. We're out training as usual. In my memory, that's when you're training like every day." As a result, the ground suddenly cracked. He fell into the hole. And then we suddenly discovered a magic stone. After the discovery of the meteorite, out of curiosity, that he touched, he said, "The moment of touch has been sealed inside." The young man looked at the elder and said, "So what year is it?" Everyone around is chattering. Say what Ra is talking about. In the Kier Rock, there's basically no magnetic fairies. There's only one boy just like a beggar. A child clicks his tongue. That's what makes people 7. A priest angel scene. It's based on what's embedded in 10 grand lists. This young man said no. It won't be that simple. The boy who is hiding the genie also added, "I think we should bring him back first. Then ask around." Young man hands out. After scratching his head and laughing anxiously, he's a harmless, pure man. He suddenly remembered the image of 4 people. And think it's like a 9-day escape. "I don't know if you are all well." He smiled and thought that I was back. Back to the CA school. He said that. Priest angel scene SAO. It attracts many people to see it. The result is just an angel. Children kneel down and tell the school CA right. The elders also seem to have 7 hopes for it. But even SAO took him away. You said there's one other thing. There is a conceit. It's called an exile that was devoured by magic. Today, the elders are busy with your dark face. I can't believe the next guy came to the library. CA school suddenly said, "Oh, there is this again." He turned his head slightly and smiled. "Then I must go and help the elders with their grief." A flaming chariot are circulating in the clear blue sky. The prince sitting there said, "Drunk do. I used to be a descendant of the Yellow Mountain. Now practice taboo magic. To betray the Yellow Mountain. I will definitely find him. Bring back peace to this world." He went on. He has fallen into the spell of death without pity. The woman sitting next to me answered, "I know if I see him again. I won't kill you anymore." The prince replied, "It is good to understand. I don't want to do it twice." The Lord agreed with him too. Car to the library fairies. I have just arrived and heard the noise. I can't believe the heir to the magic tool is so big. I can't wait to sneak into the library. I don't understand how to collect. It's worth killing someone else. That's right. The owner is very active. The elders couldn't catch him either. Do you have any solution? The prince listened and asked, "What's going on down there so loud?" He looked down happily and said that he was an old man. The prince saw that and said, "Try to punish CASAO. I can't believe it's a guy who likes to make noise. He still thinks. We must find the bone first. Don't try to force me." The situation at the bottom is very exciting. CA speaking loudly, "Don't worry, gentlemen. I will definitely work with the elders. Soon to find out the whereabouts of this guy. Finding justice for the victims. It also brings peace to the library." Everyone's happy, they said. Of course, the owner of the tiger is a private prophet. You really make people feel safe. The smiling blush girls. A girl compliments you. If you can share a room with the missing school owner. the more peace of mind. The other girl said. Are you crazy? The princess is still in the library. What do you take to compete with people? The pink girl replied confidently, because I'm sexy. Move to another place in the library. A shout goes up. This time you are really rude. You've just come to the library. The old man in the room. Point your hand straight to the dewy joint sitting meditation. If you are discovered, why? Don't forget that there's some kind of terrorism in the library. Like the celestial bow, great elder. He killed me like he killed the chicken. Bone Rope reluctantly said. Please rest assured in my heart that I know. He turned his back and left. He said, pay attention, don't get in the way. Thanks to you, I am very busy. After he left the room. Business thought. If I was honest right now, I am not an heir. He will probably deal with himself first. My mother is at the library. He grimaced, thinking he was harming me. Over here. He breathed a sigh of relief and left the room. He said the real details. He thinks, however. I also got a lot of useful information. A person approaching the Chui frequency when he's only a few steps away. He said the big brother came in and asked you. It turned out to be the dead. He said that my brother is Xiao Yang. Do you remember? The king chewed raw for a while and then uttered his brother Sao. Just got into the story. The first scene appeared. It's a picture of the students listening to the elders preach. Extraordinary Tao, extraordinary name, extraordinary name. Extraordinary names such as Trung Home Gas. In the meantime, CA Chief shows off his boring aesthetic face. Listen to this elder preach. I hear so much that I fall asleep. Still, the great elder said well. At that time, Yumin was not sitting next to him and wiggled. She turned to look at the CA school, curiously asked the CA school. I keep looking at you forever. At the end of the school, she laughed excitedly. Turned to land. So what's so strange about Mr.? You don't see that, she replied coldly. But her eyes are on you. It's like having sea blood. Take care, CA calmly continue the word, oh. Maybe you know my identity. Think about exposing me. In the Kier district using eyes full of color. Staring at the two people trying. CA and Nuyet Min School, no. Back to the CA and Min schools. CA school again bloomed A. The self-absorbed smile turned to Moon Ming without saying. Min is not interested in VI. It's like an ancestor has disappeared. An heir that's not worth worrying about. Yumin didn't hear that and coldly replied. Don't we just feel that gaze is a bit complicated? Not you. CA school heard that more and more self-attached. He sat laughing and asked. Maybe Min isn't worried. I have an unclear relationship with her. Moon Ming could not hear the timid reply. So that's not what the CA school sees. I thought what I was thinking was right. Explain with peace of mind. The enemy is the nuclear fusion. I don't have the guts to go out with her. Min didn't see him say that. Embarrassed to speak out again, right? CA school heard her words. More self-absorbed. He laughed as if he didn't. Towards the Jiang department. The prince did not look at her curiously. Why? Jiang's facial expression became gritted with teeth. Anger answered. Nothing to see, dirty Sao. The prince didn't look at the old school. And Moon Ming was not surprised. Say it's not an attempt. Death is seen. The school then glanced at the center of the. Two people, if nothing, I eat shit. While the elder stood on the radio. Are announcing the time. Organized training for everyone. After half a month, Legshan Library will hold a hospital admission test. At the same time, based on the results, determine the criteria for selecting disciples of elders. I hope you prepare well. The monks below the platform excitedly shouted. We can finally exercise our power. CA School tried to smile, pale, thinking. After half a month of training, I was curious what was new at the time. At that time, at the back of the dead Yang and the chewing lime standing side by side, smiling happily, CA School continues to think in his mind. It's just the dead Yang army, suitable for the body of the air carrier. My son has also been in contact with me. SAO does not touch system task. Maybe it's because people have a lot of energy. There are too many fairies in the library. So he's just a loop in the mission. It's time for the mission to end. The students came out talking to each other. It's finally over. Are you going to soak your feet later? The students heard that and said no. I've got to get a face treatment to this world. Must be beautiful. Suddenly, the first to see CA and Nuit Min schools are walking together. She felt surprised by the words "oh" in her mouth. At the same time, I can't see the old man. She asked if it wasn't a fairy. As soon as I saw the shadow of the school, CA. First, use 2 hands to cover. Run away with your face arched, just running and chanting. I can't see myself. And so Min did not see the first scene of Ni. 2-hand cover face, 3 legs for legs, panicked running forward. I was confused and turned to the school. What does she run? You raped her again. What did CA say? There's no way she raped me. I am now ashamed to look at you. First time children blindfolded curled buttocks run carelessly, crashed his head into the toned chest of the dead Yang. Zi Yang saw that and laughed softly. My daughter is so coincidental. We meet again. First, doubt or ask. You are the Lord of Heaven. I went out with her curiously and asked her what she was. Not waiting for the next person. When I finished asking, Zi Yang laughed and answered the question. Although not heard, all the questions stopped the words behind me. The first child said stubbornly, coincidence too. So many priests he gathered the elders to preach. He can make me and the Lord of Heaven meet again. You thought I would say that? The Lord heard these words. He slowly responded. It was a coincidence that I met the fairy girl. Just say hello. The girl is too urgent. The boy's face became serious. Get out of my way or I'll beat you up. The words of the old man have ended. An arm suddenly placed on her shoulder. The school suddenly appeared behind her. Say slowly, why is the fairy AI following me again? The words just finished, the child was embarrassed to smoke. They quickly flew away so the others could stay. Please die. You don't have your business. Don't bother me. When the first child left, the school changed its face. Looking at the dead, he said, Death Yang Celestial Army. I remember when I said, I don't expect anyone to get close. You see the wind blowing through your hands. The color of the face is also to the color in response to the lack of school owner CA misunderstood. But I'm kind enough to mention one thing. The first time I saw you running. Hope is too strong. It will also be offensive. CA Dark School closed eyes full of murder. Slowly, you are going to work. Point to what your aunt's house is. Di Yang was angry when he heard that. Put your hand up and point to the face. Try to punish CA. You go in and stand next to me and stop me. Yang. When you see this, raise your hands to forgive. You really misunderstand. We're just across the street. I didn't mean anything to you before. Please rest assured. Zoe is trying to control her anger right now.